Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Sunshine for the Soul. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. If you're new here, I'm Cyndi, and I am so appreciative of you bringing your great energy and your vibes to this community. So today, you guys, a lot of big energies going on this week. We've got the Lionsgate portal closing. We've got the Sun conjunct in Venus as of the 13th. We've got Venus retrograde is continuing, and now, lo and behold, here comes the new moon in Leo on the 16th. Again, this month is really big energies. So today, like I said in my last readings, I want to start implementing a little bit of the astrology and the meanings behind these astral bodies and these planetary movements, that their energies influence our lives and give us the opportunity to utilize these energies. How convenient for the Creator to make all these cycles and bring all these energies in closer to us. That's kind of a pretty amazing concept when you think about that. But they've been hidden from us and we didn't know how to utilize them. So now that we're awakening, now that we know we're a spiritual, energetic being having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience, big difference between the two. Now we realize we're energy, and it's a whole new ball game on learning how to function in this 3D reality that we're in right now. So a little brief history on the new moon. It is in Leo. It's 23 degrees, and it's going to take place on the 16th at approximately 5:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The new moon, I dug into what the new moon was about. You know, we have the cliche stories and myths about new moons, but for myself, I really wanted to understand what a new moon meant. So the new moon marks the beginning of a lunar cycle. It takes approximately 29 and a half days for the moon to orbit our Earth. A new moon occurs when the moon is positioned between the Earth and the sun. So the sun and the Earth are on opposite sides of the moon. It's not a perfect alignment, or that would be a solar eclipse. That's when the moon gets in front of the sun, essentially blocks the sun. But during the new moon, the side of the moon that is facing Earth is the shadow side or the dark side. So that's why if you go outside, you'll have a pitch black night. You won't be able to see the light of the moon because it blends in with the darkness. It's the dark side of the moon, which is really interesting because, just a side note, a friend and I went up to this mountain range for the Perseids meteor shower this past weekend, and we sat in like a national park, and they played the dark side of the moon while we watched the Perseids meteor shower. It was very cool. Just Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. The moon is never continually dark or continually light. It has both day and night, but in half moon cycles. Basically, it gets 15 days of light on one side, approximately 15 days of darkness, whereas the Earth spins faster and gives us partial time of day and light every 24 hours. So what's the difference between a new moon and a full moon? That kind of intrigued me. These are opposites. When there is a new moon, we see the side of the moon that is dark, or the shadow side. So this is where there's no illumination from the sun. But when there's a full moon, we see the side of the moon that is bright or illuminated. So for the month of August, we had a full moon on August 1st. We're having another one on August 30th, 31st, which, by the way, is my birthday. Shout out to all the Virgos this month. We're getting a Virgo season. And then on the 16th, we have a new moon. So 2 full moons and a new moon in the month of August for 2023. These are big energies, you guys. This is a side note too, is that the moon, according to the Farmer's Almanac, shares its origins from the Latin word metri, which means to measure, and mensis, which means month. This is where kind of a female gender's menses cycle comes from. But the lunar cycle has an impact on human reproduction, in particular fertility, menstruation, and birth rate, which is very interesting. Like, those energies are directly connected with us biologically. Melatonin levels appear to correlate with a woman's menstrual cycle. We know that lunar cycles affect human biology by also influencing our sleep cycles, that melatonin that our body naturally produces. We know it affects human minds emotionally and psychologically. I was a charge nurse on an Alzheimer's memory care unit. I had 28 clients, and I can tell you right now, when we had full and new moons, things were batshit crazy. And when you're in healthcare, don't even talk about it. But it's kind of like a myth and kind of funny. It's a full moon. Wow, things are going to be nuts tonight. But the reality is the energies are so increased that the mind of an Alzheimer's patient would be very sensitive to those changes in energy. So that's why those evenings got a little hairy-carry, all right? That's all I'm going to say. So we know now and understand that not only does the energy of the moon pull the oceans and cause the tides, but we know it affects us on an emotional level. We know that it affects us on a physical level, and we also know that it affects us on a spiritual level. So the new moon represents the beginning of a new chapter. Opportunities and situations may pop up during a new moon and be incredibly meaningful and reveal opportunities just ripe for you to pick. It connects us with our intuition and our emotions. And in tarot, the moon card is number 18, and that symbolizes things hidden below the surface, secrets, or things we cannot see. So the moon's energy, we become more in touch with our intuition. We can see things clearly, intuitively, rather than relying on what we see in the 3D with our physical eyes, opposed to using our intuition, which is our third eye. So this new moon, which is in Leo, is the opportunity to spiritually connect us, to bring us joy, happiness, self-love. It can reconnect us to our life's true purpose according to our natal birth chart and that blueprint we designed for this experience we are having here on Earth. This is a time for manifestation. It's a time for setting intentions, and it's time for writing a new chapter or just throwing it out and writing a whole new book. It is up to us. See you over there. All right, Scorpions, let's see what we've got for you in these new moon energies. I'm pulling 4 cards plus clarifiers, the biggest energy, what's ending in the past, what's just beginning in the future, and what it is the universe really wants us to take home about this reading today for you Scorpions. So, biggest energy, what card comes out is the 8 of Wands in the reverse. This is usually a card of fast energy. It's about communication. It's about forward movement. But in the reverse, this is that communication, that forward movement didn't happen. This is an energy of someone waiting for communication that has not come yet. They're watching their phone, they're checking their messages, checking their emails, making sure their notifications are on, and this message has not arrived. Big energy right here. And I clarified that with number 13, the death card. So this is waiting, sitting outside the gate, waiting for that message, growing impatient. This person is dressed in their Sunday best. They've got their sickle right there with them. The gates are closed. You can see their feet are sitting in the water from where they sit, meaning they've got both feet in. They're ready to reveal what looks like their emotions, but that final message from the universe, that final message that comes in that says it's go time and that gate opens, has not quite taken place yet. So this is like this temporary pause or this waiting for this major transformation or rebirth. And that's really funny because I just ended my Sag reading that I'm posting, and I talked about how we feel like right now we're on this precipice of something. The energies just seem to be this building crescendo, and we've got a lot going on in the world. And we knew back, a year ago, people were channeling that July, August, and September were going to be huge major shifts and changes in our world, and we can see that. So this is an energy of waiting for a communication that hasn't come, waiting for those gates to open. They're dressed, they're ready, they've got their emotions intact, they got both feet in, and they're just waiting for that final trumpet to blow. I don't know why that just came over me, but all right, what is ending? Why is this character waiting for this communication? And we've got card number 20. We've got Judgment. What did I just say? Waiting for that trumpet to sound. And here's the Judgment card. Then this depicts, a marriage or a celebration, or the universe is calling judgment on something. The waiting is going to end. We're going to have to surrender to what comes next. And I clarified the Judgment card with the 7 of Wands. So this is feeling overwhelmed by the challenges in life. This card moves like this narrative of conflict conflict and defiance and waiting to one of negotiation and possible surrender. So wherever this death character is going, this gate that's opening, wherever they're headed, it's something that they have been thinking about for a long time. It's something that they have been planning. They know that they're going to have to negotiate maybe to get that door even open, but right now there is no more waiting, And if this is a proposal, or this character is headed somewhere to propose some type of union, they were patiently waiting for a sign. And what's ending is that stuck energy is ending. This is the message. This is the trumpet. We're at the precipice. This is the universe saying, make your move. Don't stand in fear anymore. That fear keeps you in low energy. And as we're raising our frequency, as our planet is shifting into another frequency, you don't want to be left behind in those lower frequencies of shame, guilt, remorse, regret, anger, non-forgiveness. This is exactly where we're at right now, where we're coming out of those low energy vibes, those emotions and feelings that, man, the news is damn on getting us to stay in those vibes. If you are watching the news and you're sitting in a state of fear and you're looking at all this, you need to click that button off. Just turn it off, because the whole intention for it to being put out there is to put you in low energy, in a low fear state, so that you're not shining your light. You're not bright. You're not adding your light to the collective. You're sitting in here quivering in the corner. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe in source, and you have faith in what's coming, you have faith that things are going to change, that things are going to get better, that heaven is going to be brought down on earth. We're going to create a new world. Well, that's not resembled by sitting in the corner fearfully watching the news, being scared of what's going to happen. That's the opposite. But we're intentionally being drawn to that. There's nothing good. Sunshine for the Soul was created 12 years ago after I went through a very severe depression after a breakup of somebody that I was truly, truly in love with. And out of my depression, I couldn't get out of it. I started just giving back even though I had nothing to give. And I found that by giving, that healed me. So we are in a position now of changing those things about us, taking ourselves out of those low energies and giving back to others and coming together. And the universe says that which is just beginning is the 9 of Cups. Like you've got an accumulation of 9 of your 10 cups. You're very proud of your accomplishment. But that 10th cup over there is something that eludes you. That 10th cup is something that you haven't been able to put your hands on. So this character's waiting for the communication, waiting for the trumpet to sound, for the judgment to come, for those gates to open or not, so that they can go in and they can negotiate their truth. The 5 of Pentacles says, you're no longer wanting to be left out in the cold. You no longer want to be away from the light. Darkness is the absence of light. So if your world is dark, if you're angry, if you're complaining, if you're sitting in a state of pessimism and nothing's going right for you, it's because that's what you are focused on. Our emotions and our thoughts are what create our reality. So if you're focused in the negativity, your thoughts are energy, that's the ripple you send out. We live in a world of polarity. That's what you get back. You're literally drawing more negativity and more fear into your frequency with you. You only align with the frequency of what you put out. So this character is wanting to come into the light and the warmth. They're wanting to walk through those gates, walk into that castle, and be where they consider home. And they are tired of, spending time out in the cold, lonely and isolated. And on this 5 of Pentacles, you see a couple that is bundled up out in the cold, walking together. Maybe 2 people have been out in the cold. Maybe 2 people have been away from their truth. Maybe 2 people have been away from where the light is, where they consider home. So the universe says, let's look at this lesson. What do we've got here? And right off the bat, I've got the sun, and this is clarified by the 6 of Wands. So we see a card here. It's the sun, and it's a sign, and it says, voyage l'impossible. This sun brings illumination, joy, celebration. The sun card is just all that light and warmth that comes in, and it makes the situation look totally different. And I like this card because of the voyage of the impossible. They're saying that the impossible, is over. You've made it. We're turning the corner of all the difficulty. We're turning the corner of being in the darkness, and we're reaching for the light. Just like my sunflowers that popped up in my garden. I had 2 sunflowers survive. It's really funny because I look at one's a little bigger and one's than the other one, and I'm like, that divine masculine and divine feminine sitting right out in my yard. Sunflowers, they reach for the light. They turn and go the direction of the light to get the maximum light inside them. And we as humans, we do the complete opposite. We do everything but turns towards the light. With the frequencies changing, with everything happening right now, turn towards the light. Turn off that TV. Stop watching the news. It is intentionally and purposely put out there to keep you in an enslaved state of fear and doubt and hopelessness. That's all you're getting out of watching the news. And the 6 of Wands says, again, this is a couple celebrating. This is a marriage. This is coming into union with Source, within ourselves, coming into union again within our world, coming into union within our relationships that are healthy and meant for us. This is a time of celebration. There's a ton of marriage cards coming out in readings, my readings, everybody else's readings. Seems like all of a sudden, whatever's going on in the energies, there's this big shift for union. And when I see this card, the 6 of Wands, I think maybe this couple had spent time together as young children, either in this lifetime or past lifetimes. And now they're grown into the beautiful souls. They're coming into union. They're just so beautiful inside now that they're healed, and that when they come together, their light is shining so brightly, which is, honestly, the exact reason for the twin flame journey. It is to awaken 2 people, help each other, be the catalyst for your soul to awaken during this time of ascension, and to remember who you are as a spiritual energetic being. So then we could do the healing, we can get out of those lower energies, and we can rise up and stay in this frequency of love and light and peace and harmony, which, the Bible describes as heaven on earth. We always knew that after the rapture and the tribulation, that this is going to be a transition where heaven was going to be brought down on earth and reign for 1,000 years, but we never knew exactly what it was going to look like in the physical. We always looked at it as this mystic, esoteric, up in the clouds kind of scenario. Well, we're in it right now, and this is the transition that is happening. So I ask you, Scorpio, are you shining your light? Are you sitting in the darkness? You're waiting for a sign. Maybe this reading is the sign. Maybe this reading is saying, only you can step through those gates. Have you been to the door? Do you know whether or not the door is locked? Do you know whether or not it's already sitting there waiting for you just to walk through? Is that light? Is that place home on the other side of the tunnel waiting for you? And the message that you've been waiting for is that you are the one that decides when the right time is. You are the one that gets up and walks through that gates. You don't wait for anybody to unlock your path. You go out there and you grab it. You run after it. So Scorpios, big energy. What are you up to? What is coming in the new moon? And the energies just are revealing this powerful message of, taking the reins into your hands and, no more waiting. No more waiting. The universe says, don't wait. Live for today. My friend asked me if she should, do this excellent trip where she goes out into Montana and Wyoming and she rides horses in Yellowstone. She's like, I don't know what I should do. I said, if you had just been told that you were going to, not be here in 3 months, or you only had 6 months to live, I said, would you go do that? And she said, absolutely. It would be the first thing I'd go to do. And that's how we need to live our lives. Every day with that passion, with that faith, with that understanding that I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to go out there and enjoy everything that this world has to offer, and the Creator wants us to experience this. That's why we were created. That's why we incarnate into a human vessel, so that we can have these experiences and the universe can live through those experiences with us and understand what it's like to, be a human, have the choice to have the experiences that we want, to go where we want to go. So you are the only one that can open that gate. You're the only one that can walk through that door. And if you enjoyed this message, liking, sharing, and subscribing helps this channel grow. Scorpios, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you at your next reading. Peace.